back again. Welcome, Sapa. So you already know who it is. It's your boy Timothy Fauci, the king of the black spats, here with wants over needs, providing you with the newest, latest, and greatest, well, at least better, COVID restrictions for here in Puerto Rico. So things are getting better. We might have some options, but let's get into it. Alright, mi compadres, do you guys want the good news or the bad news first? I'll give you the good news first. So the good news is there's pretty much no bad news. Everything is good. Things have improved, so we're getting a little bit more freedom. Living large, baby, you know how I do. But I'll get right into it for you partiers, because I know y'all always ask these questions. Were the nightclubs and stuff open? So first and foremost, the dry law that was in place from midnight to 5 a.m. has been repealed. It's done. Benito. Gone. Se acabó. Good news. Secondly, second bit of good news is also that the business curfew has been removed from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. So the nightclubs, everything, the bars, the restaurants can now stay open, which is really good because the restaurants were stopping serving food and taking orders at like 9, 10 p.m. so that they could clean and get home. And that was getting hard to Uber Eats, but you know, we subiendo, estamos subiendo, we're getting better, we're going up from here. So let's get into some terminology that is now in place. Vaccinated is important again, but that has slightly changed. If your vaccine allows the booster, you need to have that. So if applicable, you need to have that to be considered vaccinated. Which is cool, right? But if you haven't been boosted, you need to get boosted. Otherwise, you need to have the PCR test 48 hours before coming. Do your travel online declaration as always. None of that has changed. You get it, got it, love it, boom. However, there is an advantage now to being vaccinated. So if you're domestic travel and you're vaccinated, you no longer need the 48-hour PCR test. Just domestic. International, you still need it, but yeah, if you've been vaccinated back in the States, you don't need to worry about the test anymore. Perfect. Now there's a big downside to being unvaccinated. No matter if you have the negative or positive test for PCR antigen, you will have to quarantine for 7 days if you're unvaccinated. So you should probably go do it. It's the best bet. I do not know how they're going to enforce that, so don't ask me, hey, how are they really doing it? I don't know. That's what the piece of paper says. I don't know if they're enforcing it. I'd be surprised with the booster one just because it's so new, but nonetheless, that's where the law is going, so just do it. Stop trying to be slick all the time. One thing to note is now 5 to 11-year-olds will be treated as adults in that they need to have their vaccine and or the PCR test if it's an event such as that. Previously, before February, they did not have to have that. This was kind of their onboarding phase where they could go get these vaccines. Now you are expected to have it if you're 5 to 11. So duly note that. So let's get back to some good news. Let's bring back the good times and reel those in. So indoor locations are now open to 75% capacity. So from 50 to 75. Anything outdoor is now full capacity. So we moved up there. Placita, that sounds like Placita back, boom, 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 boom. Another thing to note is that large events are now allowed to be at 50% capacity. They no longer have the 250 person cap. So if you had 1,000 event place, you can now do 500 instead of that being cut down to 250. So concerts, big weddings, things like that are back on. You should probably enjoy those and look for those as perfect things to do on your vacation. By the way, I made a video recently on the best 3-day itinerary for someone just coming for a long weekend and what they should want to do while they're here. You should take a look at it. It has some great suggestions. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you guys for your time. Until 2 weeks from now when we have new restrictions, I'll see y'all then. And Padres out. Timothy Fauci.